Hello and welcome to Create Today. We will use this bear stamp set to create this masculine card. You will need a stamp positioning tool for this project. Here I'm using the Stamparatus. I already have my stamps positioned where I would like them. So I'm adding my paper and using my magnets. Now for this project, we need a light image. I don't want to saturate the image because we are going to color it in. So I'm using a drier ink pad. And you see I still go ahead and stamp it twice. Okay, and then he needs some ground. The bear was floating in the air, so I used this stamp. I did stamp off one time, so I did not do it full strength. Okay, now I'm going back to the bear. I'm changing to a separate piece of paper. We are going to cut this bear out. So all I'm concerned about on this image is getting the bear inked onto the paper. And again, I'm using a very light coverage stamp pad, ink pad. And the trick here is to use your blends to amplify the detail on these distinctive stamps. So what I'm doing is I've just pulled my ivory blends marker and I'm just going over the entire bear. So I'm not trying to color with highlights or lowlights or anything like that. I'm literally just adding ink to the bear. And it's important that you do not take this paper out of your Stamparatus, because what we're going to do is re-ink here and ink over the top. And look at the detail that comes out on that bear. How fabulous. Okay, so we can go ahead and put the Stamparatus away. And what I need to do now is take my snips and just have a little go around. Do not worry about loose hairs or long nails or anything like that, because we did stamp the image onto our card panel already, and so those details will show up from the original stamped image. We are going to glue or adhere this cutout image directly on top of the original image. You'll see down by his feet on the original image, the ground looks as if it's in front of the bear's feet. We do not want that. I want the bear walking on the ground, not sinking into the ground. So this second image we adhere directly on top, and then it will look as if the bear is walking on the ground. So right here I forgot to go grab my sponge. Again, this is cinnamon cider. I sponge pretty much everything with cinnamon cider. So I'm just going around my cut marks here. If there are any white areas showing up, and there are on this one, the cinnamon cider covers those white edges so that the bear looks as if he is more of a die cut piece. Okay, and I put glue on here, and then I realized that I had a couple of V areas that I didn't snip out, and I do want to go ahead and do that. And so behind his ear here, and then where his front legs are, you do want to, I shouldn't say front legs, those legs that are on this side. You want to notch those V's out. It's a little thing, but it really makes your cutting look cleaner. Okay, and so I'm reattaching the glue. That original glue had started to dry a little bit, and so I didn't want this to peel back up. So I went ahead and attached a little more glue. And then look at that. When you glue that second cutout bear over top of the original bear, look at that. Now the bear is walking on the ground. Look at that. Such an amazing little trick there just to add the blends. Okay, so here I am just roughing up the edges. I don't know why I started doing that. My paper, I had noticed a couple of edges when I cut was a little shreddy. I guess I need to change my blade. So to shred or to distress your edges, you don't have to, you can use your snips, but you do not have to open them. Just keep them closed and run them along the edge, and it will distress your edge just a little bit for you. It just gives you that little bit of texture. So now I'm adding this panel onto the green panel, and I should have distressed the edge of the green panel as well, but I did not here. I did end up taking it off after the video was over, and I distressed the edge and put that back on the green. So here on the vellum, I'm just putting the seal. I could have been more careful and put the seal underneath where the bare panel was going to be, but I just didn't care. You can seal a little bit, but the card is busy enough that your eye doesn't go to that, so I just didn't worry about it. My vellum, I didn't get this vellum placed exactly where I wanted it. You either can put the vellum so that it shows out on the left side or doesn't show, and I managed to put it right exactly on the edge of the panel. So I just pulled it up and I'm reattaching that here. Okay, and my vellum isn't cut correctly to the panel, so I just trim off the extra. Flatten that again, and now when I put my panel onto the, when I put my bare panel onto my vellum panel, I'll have an outline edge. Now here I am, I'm just mucking up the edges on this one a little bit so it matches the bear. There we go. There we go. Just attaching this down with some seal. Okay. And then my vellum is popping up just a little bit there on the edge, so I just put a little drop of glue on this scrap and I run it under the vellum and push it down. There we go. Now everything's flat. Okay, and there's our panel. We just need to attach it to our card base now. I had these black cardstock bases, pre-made bases, so I am just attaching it to one of those. It's black on the inside as well, so you will need to put a writing panel on the inside. I usually like to use seal to attach my panel to the card base so that I don't get any bumps underneath on the inside front. Okay, I did not put any of these layers on dimensionals because I am using these matte black dots and they've got some height to them, so I did not want to use dimensionals and these matte black dots. So I glued, my panels are all flat with no dimensionals, and then I add these dots. And that's it. A masculine card ready to go. Enjoy. Bye.